don't hear it in the speaker.
I don't hear it in the speaker at all. See how we sound with a speakerphone. Hey, I want to welcome y'all to another show of Voices in the Struggle. I'm your main man, Big Ant.
I'm Brother Reggie.
And hey, thanks for joining us. Thanks for rocking with us. We're getting better and better and better. Listen, we are going to have someone here from Chatham County Homeless Authority to capture the homelessness in our area and talk about how we can work together to combat homelessness everywhere. But before that, we're going to get to the North Carolina protest. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the North Carolina protest, you know.
Or the riots.
Or the riots. Or the riots, as they say. But, you know, a protest or a riot is just a voice of the unheard. Right. You know? I mean, our concerns are going falling on deaf ears.
They are.
You know?
They are. It's a shame we got to go that drastic for them to hear us talk about, you know what I'm saying, for our issues to come out in the public. And, you know, when it's enough is enough, that's how folks are going to explode.
Yeah, I mean, you know, singing and marching, that's great. But, you know, well, I just want to say my prayers goes out to the everybody down there protesting. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I think a message must be sent, you know. A message must be sent.
Yeah.
You know, we have to stop becoming soft targets in the street.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
They're not going to hear us any other way. And sometimes, they ain't even hearing us sometimes when we do a riot. So, hey, we have to hit them where it hurt. Wherever that may be, we got to figure it out.
But my question is, where are all these people that protested Kaepernick because he took a knee?
Right.
We have somebody shot in the street with his hands up.
Right.
Where's that same anger? You know what I mean? Where's that same protest?
It's not there. They don't want to acknowledge that it's a problem.
It's a problem.
You know, hey, they see him, they mad about him taking the knee for the flag. You know, you're disrespecting the flag. But it's a life somebody just took. But you don't think that's disrespectful either. So you can't stand up for that. But you're going to stand up for the flag, and how patriotic are you? You're going to stand up for the flag, and you can't stand up for somebody whose life has been taken from them, and they ain't do anything. You
know, there's been 16 people shot since Kaepernick took a knee.
Right.
And that's all they want to talk about is the protest.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And not the problem.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not the problem at all. And then they're talking about Kaepernick, yes. But then there's other NFL players done stepped up, you know, protesting their own way. Some holding the fist up, some kneeling down with Kaepernick. But they put everything on Kaepernick because he started.
He started.
But still, like you said, where is the outcry for the folks who just, like you said, the 16 since then, and the ones before them?
What really got me is Ray Lewis. This guy's a great motivational speaker. He is. I used to be his fan. Past tense. Yeah. You know, when Freddie Gray got killed in Baltimore, he didn't say nothing.
Nothing. He was quiet.
When they started rioting in Baltimore, he came out, "Not my city. Don't tear my city up."
Yeah, I seen that.
I
seen that. Yeah.
He ain't say nothing when Freddie Gray got hurt.
Yeah.
Now he's coming out saying it's not a racial thing with the police.
Right. They didn't shoot Terrence Crutcher because of race.
Right. It's kind of hard to prove that because only black people are getting killed.
Right.
Only black people are getting shot.
Right.
You know?
And I can see if she slipped up with the trigger, she's been a police probably for a while. This ain't her first time having to put a gun on anybody. You get training for that. So you just shoot the man with his hands up, and he's a car length away from you.
My thing is, how did you feel threatened when it's 4 cops total?
Right.
And one person with their hands up. Where was the threat? How did you feel threatened?
From the movie, not the movie, the video, I didn't see a threat.
I didn't see one either.
No, I didn't see
I'm not a police.
Yeah.
I'm not, you know. If you are, please call in if there was a threat. But I swear for God, I didn't see one.
Right.
I didn't see one.
And common sense tell you see that video. Well, we already know it's going to happen. It's been happening. She's been, as you heard, she's been convicted, not convicted. She's been charged with first-degree manslaughter. But is it gonna hold up in court?
That's the thing.
That's the thing. So
that's the thing. We've seen the Baltimore case where Marilyn Mosby went in there with thrust. She was ready to get him.
Right.
She ain't granted any footing though because of the system. Now they talking about suing her.
Yeah, they are.
You know.
They finna get her up out of there because she had the gall
to go against the system.
Or the balls to go against the system.
To go against the system. Right. Just like Shaquille O'Neal. You went on Fox News to talk about Kaepernick.
Oh yeah.
Shaq, I want you to call Fox News and ask if you can come back up there to talk about the killings. I bet you they won't even answer your damn call.
Hey,
I mean, really.
I don't know what Shaq was thinking, man.
What are we doing?
Hey, they don't know what they're thinking. It's money. You put people got money, they scared to lose their money. You know, when you got all that money, you don't want to go back down to the bottom. You know, be a regular man or a regular woman. I got too much to lose. I got too much money to lose. I can't have this big house, these nice cars, get all this stuff handed to me every time I go somewhere without having that money. They're
lap dogs is what they are.
They are
lap dogs. But I guess if you Ray Lewis, if you got off with from being convicted for double murder.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I guess you be dancing and singing too. I guess.
Whatever you want me to say, boss.
Yeah, you know.
Hey, don't take me to jail.
So, hey, you know, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, Wendell Pierce, D.L. Hughley, Dr. Umar, Michael, Eric Dyson, Dick Gregory. You know, hey, thank y'all for speaking up against the injustices. You know, it's black people getting killed, but this is a humanitarian issue. You know, no matter what color you are, a lost life is a lost life. You know, but I'm afraid that people won't look at it like that.
They're not.
Because they can't put themselves in their position. You know what I mean?
They're not. It's a dog-eat-dog world out here. So if I'm not the low man on totem pole, I'm not worried about low man on totem pole. Because my foot is on his neck too.
Right,
you know, I might not be the man, you know, who's running everything, but if my foot on your neck, I ain't the lowest man.
Exactly.
So your face in the mud, not mine. I can still get up and pull myself up because I got a chance. But hey, it doesn't affect me because I'm not feeling what your pain is at all.
So now, finally, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton has spoken out against the violence. But you know what? It's too little, too late.
Oh yeah.
Too little, too late. It just so happened that you really need our vote in November. So now you're going to speak out.
Yeah.
Now you're going to speak out.
Hey, what I said, what, a couple weeks ago we had this show? I ain't voting for now one of y'all chumps. Anyway, at all. If I vote. If I even vote. So,
I'm voting. But
if I even vote, I ain't even worried about that.
We gotta work to get some better choices in there. That's all. We gotta work to get a voice for us. We gotta work to get a representation.
Man, I keep telling you, we gotta pay for some better choices. You can't work nobody. We gotta pay for them folks. They ain't gonna run on their own money. They need some money, some backing.
So we need to pool our resources, huh?
That's it, man. That's it. That's all they doing in them other two parties, pooling their resources.
And listen, if you have them come and talk at your church, please make them accountable for what they're talking about.
Man.
If they come to your church and talking about nothing that has to do with your community, nothing that your congregation want to hear, but they're coming to your church to talk, then what good are they doing?
Man, Reverend say he got a fat check, he ain't worried about that.
That's the problem.
You know what I'm saying? I got a fat check from the man who come and talk at my church and the congregation. I'm living good, mortgage paid up. I'm finna get this new car next week. I ain't worried about what you talking about.
Donald Trump looked the most uncomfortable in a black church.
Oh, he wasn't gonna be there long.
Oh my God, his skin was probably burning. You know what I mean?
He was probably texting, "Hey, get me up out of here with these Negroes."
Yeah, right. Right, but you know, we let them come in, say what they want to say to your congregation, who's supposed to be loyal to you. You're supposed to be following Christ. They're supposed to be following you and Christ, and you misleading them because of you trying to line your pockets.
Yeah,
personal opinion.
Yeah.
That's why I think the black church is failing the black community. But that's a whole nother show. That's a whole nother show. But I'm just saying, hold them. You have the platform. You have the people. You have the power. Hold them accountable. They're coming to your community talking about stuff in D.C.
Hey, like you said, that's another show, man. They ain't gonna hold him accountable because they looking for him. They think he Jesus. You know, he can't do no wrong. He gonna save us. We praying hard. You know, preachers say, "Hey, what's prosperity preaching?" That's that prosperity preaching.
Prosperity preaching.
You keep praying, you gonna get it. But hand me your money, your 10%. You know, of what you ain't got, because you got more bills than what you got coming in, and that's one of your bills. So hey, they gonna hold on to their prosperity come to them.
And we're going to continue to be a voiceless, soft target unless we come together.
That's right.
Unless we come together.
That's right.
You know, and we have to come to the table together with a whole bunch of prerequisites. You know, I'm Hebrew this, I'm African this, I'm Pan-African this.
Yeah.
If we can put all that to the side, put your income level to the side, put what kind of car you drive to the side, put where you live to the side, and we come on common ground to make a better America, a better black America for black people, for black kids, for brown kids, for red kids. Until we do that, we're going to be soft targets. We're going to be a voiceless people like we are now.
All day long.
You know?
Day long.
I just hope we're not on the cusp of a civil war. Because, you know, these younger folks are quicker to riot. They're quicker to be heard because they don't have a way of expressing their concerns because we're not together. So you got pockets of people out here doing different things when we can all come together and make it better for us. And you know, whatever your race, whatever your nationality is, you know, you can help. Yeah. You can help. Yeah. You know, there are a lot of white people who are not happy with the situation because it's a human rights issue. It's a human issue.
It is a human issue.
You know, it's not just because black people are getting shot. We are just getting shot, but it's a human right. It's a humanitarian issue.
Yeah, it is a humanitarian issue. Folks, like I always think about it. If you're not down here on the bottom with us, you ain't worried about us. You know, you ain't worried about us. It don't matter what we say, how bad our fight is. If you can look out your window and see, hey, it's them getting shot, not us. Hey, leave it. Don't come back from the window, baby. That ain't us. Let them handle their own business.
So, some people won't say anything until they're directly affected.
Yeah.
And to their brother, and to their cousin, and to their husband, and to their son get shot or involved in an incident.
And that probably ain't gonna happen. Not in this country anyway.
Yeah.
It won't happen because they the majority.
And some people, I'm gonna tell you, some people are not in a position to say anything because of where you work, because of various reasons. You are not in a position to say anything, and that's fine. I respect you for that. But there's a lot of work that still can be done. You can support somebody in the background without saying a single word.
Oh yeah, you can support local organizations, even national organizations. You can support, but and at the same time, them organizations got to make sure they do right by the folks supporting them.
True.
You know, can't just send our money into somebody and you stealing the money, and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do. That's you know, we got to learn how to. Just like we was talking about local voting. You know what I'm saying? Local voting, even in organizations. Hey, if you got a president or somebody who running who ain't doing it right, we trying to get you up out of that. We're gonna get somebody who's trying to go forward with something, you know, positive for us as a collective.
Local voting is very important. Right here in Georgia, Governor Deal is trying to have private organizations take over the school system.
Yeah.
And they will run the school system unaccountable. You know?
Exactly. What,
right here.
He unaccountable now.
Yeah.
Hey, it's public. They unaccountable now. So we gotta vote locally. We gotta unify basically, like we always say.
We do.
You know, just voting blindly ain't gonna help us do nothing.
It's not, but hey, we have a special guest here tonight. He is from the Chatham County Homeless Authority. He's my good friend. He volunteered to come on the show, not as a employee of Chatham County Homeless Authority or representing Chatham County Homeless Authority. He came on the show because he has the inside perspective to give us about the homeless situation in our area and essentially in your area, and what we can do to to help the homeless, because there's a vast population of homeless people out there, and Savannah does a tremendous job of hiding these people, but they're out here. So, without further delay, I want to introduce you to Mr. Carlos. Scoot on in, Mr. Carlos.
Carlos.
There we go.
What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
How you doing this evening, man?
Hey. God, dog it.
All is well. All is well.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's good.
So, I just want you to paint the picture. You know, first of all, how many homeless people are in Savannah, Chatham County?
As of like the 2015 homeless count, and what we do was called a point in time count. And that count revealed that it was 4,224 individuals that were designated as homeless in Chatham County.
You good? Back to it.
Now that 4,000, that little over 4,000 people, that includes individuals that's housed in the shelter programs. So that's emergency shelters. That's people in transitional housing. There's also people in permanent supportive housing programs. Most importantly, a significant number of individuals that's also in that count are individuals that are literally homeless, living on the street.
Okay. Now, for folks out there listening, or they're going to be listening later on, what is the definition like homelessness? You know, what would somebody consider somebody being homeless? What's a good definition?
All right, so we got a couple of definitions that we're looking at. One main definition, like Department of Human and Urban Development (HUD), they consider an individual as homeless if an individual lacks a fixed or adequate living accommodation. And this person would have to literally be living on the street, in an abandoned house, in one of the parks, in a situation something like that right there. That is literally homeless.
Okay.
That definition also includes individuals that actually stay in homeless service programs, and that's emergency shelter programs or transitional housing programs.
Okay.
Now we have another definition of homelessness that would actually include individuals that stay in, say, doubled up housing situations. So you have a number of individuals that are in a situation where they don't have a lease.
Okay.
They don't they're not paying a mortgage or rent or something like that. So those individuals will be living with family and friends.
That's okay.
So that first definition lacks a fixed or regular adequate housing situation to include a doubled up housing situation. And this definition brings in homeless families. This definition brings in a lot of the families that we see that may be, families just trying to make it day to day.
Okay.
Hey, once again, this is Voices in the Struggle. We're here with Mr. Carlos talking about the homeless situation here in Savannah and essentially in your community. So please call in at 641-715-0700, access code 372067. And let me put this disclaimer out there. What myself and Brother Reggie talk about are representation of Voices in the Struggle. That does not necessarily mean that Mr. Carlos has agreed with the previous comments that we made about any topic that we talk about. Okay? So please don't hold him accountable. He is a guest on the show. We are Voices in the Struggle, and hold us accountable.
Yeah,
okay?
call us. I ain't gonna answer the phone. You can call me though.
Call me.
Leave me a message. I can check it next week.
So what are some of the excuse me, what are some of the reasons that someone would end up homeless?
There's various reasons why individuals end up homeless. A lot of times individuals wind up in a situation because they've suffered some type of traumatic experience at some point in their life. After they've suffered that traumatic experience, you know, it brings them to an area in their life where they can't get past certain things. And so it's like you reach a point in your life where you stop growing and you settle for your present situation. Individuals become homeless when they lose their jobs. Individuals become homeless when, take for instance, a family member who was the main supporter in that household, if a family member were to pass. We even have college students who actually become in a homeless situation where, you know, certain things may go on where their financial aid may not have come through.
And they're here in school away from their original home.
Exactly.
Wow.
And they find themselves displaced.
Right.
So, you know, it's various reasons, you know, why an individual or how an individual can become homeless.
Okay.
Now, does drugs play any part of that? Someone struggling with addiction, does that play a huge? Because
most definitely.
Most of the research I've done, it plays a role, but it doesn't. Tell me if I'm wrong now. It doesn't play a big role like I thought it would.
Most definitely, drugs and alcohol definitely plays a big role. It all falls back on that traumatic experience. A lot of times people do what's called self-medicating. So to get themselves through a situation or through their circumstance, people fall to the point where they self-medicate themselves. When they partake in that drug and alcohol activity, you know, that's when the addiction sets in.
Okay.
And that kind of further slows a person out of getting themselves out of the situation.
Now let me ask you this. There are various homeless camps around Savannah. Most of them are without running water, electricity, no garbage, no sewer or anything. How are they essentially surviving out there in those conditions? Because it's just sad that someone has to go through those conditions at this day and age in America.
You know, it's a bleak picture out there. You know, individuals trying to make it the best way they can. Now, one thing I must say is that even though a person may be down, you know, economically, but you know, individuals are out there trying to make it, and they're very ingenious and they're very creative in how they can survive.
Yeah, we've seen that.
You know, a lot of individuals, you know, they may be out there. You may see the stereotypical person panhandling or something like that. But that's not the average way an actual person you know, is surviving out there on the street. You know, we've come across doctors and lawyers. You know, we've come across educators. You know, we come across all individuals from all walks of life that are out there living on the street. One thing they do is they have a sense of community. So they come together to do what they need to do to survive. You know, they come together to actually help each other out. You know, doing the things that we're supposed to be doing to you know, for them. But they come together. They come together to help each other out.
Right.
Yeah. That one night we went out there with you guys. I noticed that there's a real community out there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Everybody got their own plot of land. Everybody's looking out for each other, and you know they can tell if you're not supposed to be around there. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
No, I had a question about that. You know, being out there, going through the county. I had do you think? Because I feel like some of them I might be wrong, but some of them like living out there because there's no responsibility. You know,
off the grid,
right? You know, they ain't got nobody telling them what to do. You know, some of them might have a little job because I know that some of them have jobs. They go to work, get their check, come on back out there. They living on the land.
Exactly.
You know, do you find a lot of that?
You know, you do find a bit of that out there. You know, there are individuals that are out there, you know, by circumstance, and then there are other individuals that's out there that choose to live like that. You know, it's just depending on, you know, what that particular individual is actually going through.
So you mean to tell me there's people that's working, holding down a regular job, they don't have to live in that condition, but it's just a choice that they're making to be out there in that condition like that?
You know, there are individuals that literally choose not to go through the day to day and be accountable for certain things.
Right.
But then again, that all goes back to that traumatic experience.
Right.
There's some form of trauma that kind of stifled,
Right.
their progression. Some form of trauma that stifled their progression from moving forward.
Right. They don't want to go back through that again.
Exactly.
So I can live
Exactly.
like this, and I can still maintain, and I ain't got no. Okay, I understand. I understand that.
That's where we come in at. It's about, each of us have either experienced homelessness or know someone that's really close to us that, is experiencing homelessness. And we all are interdependent.
Right.
We need each other. And so that's where we come in at. We have to, we have to get to know that person, listen to the story, and try to meet that person to where they're at to try to help them get out of that situation.
So in helping the homeless, and because you guys interject yourself right out there, what are some of the challenges you guys face?
The number one challenge in this community, and I can say nationwide, is a lack of, like, say, affordable housing.
Right. Okay.
You see, individuals usually cycle through our systems. We have a system called like a continuum of care. But they cycle through the system. Number one, it could be economic reasons, they not having a living wage, just to support themselves, day to day. And then the housing situation here is bleak. Fair market value rent here in Savannah, and pretty much most major cities around this size or larger, is like astronomical.
Yeah, Savannah's too high.
Yeah.
You can live in Atlanta, but you can live in Savannah. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we were like right there compared to Atlanta.
Right.
Housing in Atlanta.
Right.
Without the amenities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
That little dirty water in Tybee, no?
But that's the main thing. There's a lack of affordable housing, and that contributes to individuals just cycling through the system. The main thing that we could do is kind of, we need to empower landlords to invest in individuals and designate some hand up to help individuals coming through a situation.
I understand. Yeah. Let me ask this question, because I seen on the website where they're doing the tiny houses.
Right.
Tiny houses. How is that going to play in effect with for the homeless?
See, that's another creative housing alternative. Alternatives like that right there. The tiny house project that we have is a project where we're going to start out with veterans, because the country, America, has a heart for veterans.
Right.
So we're going to start out with veterans and work with the veterans to actually try to place them in a home of their own.
Okay.
From there, we're going to branch out to other individuals within this right here community, just to provide some form of alternative housing.
Gotcha.
A lot of times, individuals may just need, a helping hand, where they may not have to have paid, just where they may not have to actually, until they're able to get to the point to where they can pay for utilities and everything. But if we can provide those services, to them, along with other support services, and then when they do get to the point where they can have income of their own and venture out, pass that opportunity on to the next person.
Okay.
So it's just a creative housing solution to combat a huge problem in this community.
Right. Okay.
How many kids do you see out there?
Good question. That's what I was going to ask.
That's a good question. When I gave that definition of homelessness, of the family homelessness, and talking about families living in a doubled up housing situation, you have like 700 to 900 children that are on the rolls, registered as homeless within the Savannah Chatham County public school system.
700 to 900 children.
700 to 900
Just in
children.
Oh my Lord.
In this area.
Yeah, it's too many.
that's a lot of children.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot of children.
So,
But like I said, that includes like the doubled up housing situations. You know, you have a sister living with her aunt, and the sister may have 2 children. The aunt may have 2 or 3 children, and they all surviving, living in their grandmother's home.
Right.
You know, and those individuals, those are the family situations that are counted in the public school system roles as being in a homeless situation.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So they essentially have a roof over their head, but they're just in an uncomfortable living situation.
That's correct.
Good, but it's good that y'all keep them on the rolls, so they're not forgotten, because they still need help and they still need the assistance. Now, I think with the tiny house project, I think that's a great project, a great initiative. I think that's going to provide a lot of challenges too. Have you guys talked about security and things of that nature for that?
That's a really good question, because it is going to provide a whole lot of challenges. Because when you talk about just placing individuals into a living situation who may not have been in a structured environment for a long time, they basically essentially have to learn to live all over again. You can expect individuals to actually be in active addiction for a period of time. You can expect individuals to be experiencing some type of mental health breakdowns, and needing that extra level of support. But creative programs like this right here is what really the focus of what the country is really focusing on right now. It's called housing first, because if you put the individual in the house or in the home, and then provide all these wraparound services to them, then their chances of making it are that much greater than you continuing to cycle them through certain, the typical shelter programs or something like that.
Okay. That's cool stuff. I think it's my last question though. For the homeless, what kind of services, can a homeless person get? If they ain't got no house, most of them ain't got no job, or what kind of services can they get, within the community?
Well, see, and that's the thing. Savannah is a lovely, caring city. You would not be hungry in Savannah if you're homeless.
Yeah.
We have a number of services. Most of the main thing is most of them are centrally located in the downtown area.
Okay, good.
They've pretty much we've built our continuum around the services. We have a number of churches that feed on a regular basis. Pretty much Monday through Sunday, an individual can get a meal.
Okay.
Pretty much around the clock, and that's breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay.
Their feeding services. Their services. We have clubhouses, day centers. They're church communities that have day centers where individuals can come in. They can come in and take a shower, clean up. They can actually come in and drop off their certain belongings, get a change of clothes, and a change of clothes to where they can go out on a job interview.
Okay.
We have employment and training services specific to individuals that are homeless. Individuals are homeless, so they don't have a mailbox. So we have mailbox services where individuals can receive a free mailbox to receive their benefits.
That's good. That's good.
There's a number of services. We have specific services to certain populations. Permanent supportive housing programs for veterans. We have permanent supportive housing programs for individuals with qualifying disabilities, say like drug and alcohol diagnosis, mental health, as well as a diagnosis of HIV and AIDS.
Gotcha.
The government places a whole lot of money to help those individuals that are most in need. You know, the medically fragile individuals.
Okay.
So from housing to employment services to, you know, shelter and food. You know, there's just a number of services.
Okay.
Yeah, I see it's 17 shelters, 6 supportive housing locations, 6 food locations, 6 medical substance abuse locations, legal assistance, and 3 veteran services. So I talked to one homeless guy, and he said if you talk to a homeless guy and he's smelling or he hasn't conducted personal hygiene, it's because he don't want to. he said there are so many services around the city, and I see why.
And that's the God honest truth.
That's good.
Yeah, you know, and I was surprised to hear that because, you know, maybe I'm wrong, but you know, when you associate somebody as being homeless, you don't think that they can conduct personal hygiene and bathe themselves regularly like somebody who's not in that situation
They
can.
don't have access to
Right.
apartment or house. Family members, they might not be around family, but yeah, they got a lot of services here.
Right, but it's good to hear that they actually can.
Yes, they can. And see, it all boils down to that traumatic experience or something. You know, something is trauma induced just to stifle that individual. So if you do find an individual that's not, you know, taking care of themselves, their personal hygiene, or that's not, you know, eating on a regular basis, even when the services are right then and there, that gives you a cue that you know you need to put a little extra time and help into that individual, just to get him where he needs to be.
Right.
Because there's some specific services that he needs to help him or her, you know, move on to the next level.
Gotcha.
So, I see 17 shelters, 6 supportive houses. What's the difference between a shelter and a supportive house?
Okay, so you have a shelter. Those right there are short-term stay facilities. That could be from 30 to 90-day facilities. Your transitional housing type programs, which are going away year by year now. Those facilities are places where an individual can stay up to 2 years. Permanent supportive housing, those target individuals with qualifying disabilities, and they can actually stay in those places as long as they continue their services, their supportive services, from 5 years or continuously.
Oh, wow.
And so that's why the push right now is for permanent supportive housing facilities, and that's really what that's really where all the funding sources are focusing on now.
Okay.
So I know when they start talking about cutting benefits and stuff, they always look at the veterans first and everybody else from there. Is the all the homeless support is that ever in jeopardy of the funds being cut?
Most definitely. You know, social service programs, you know, through the years have been slashed tremendously. Actually, President Obama, he put out a focus to end veteran homelessness as well as end homelessness, and so programs are now receiving a little more funding.
President Obama, you heard it first.
Most definitely, they're now receiving a little more funding, and you know, with this new administration on the rise, you know, things are kind of shaky. You don't really know where things are going to go.
Right, absolutely.
Absolutely. We know where it's going.
we might be
straight to hell.
We might be living in firsthand.
We know where we going. We already there, but it's going to be worse. Yeah.
But that's why the focus on housing first is to really house those individuals that need the services the most, and so that's where the money is actually going now. It's going to those permanent supportive housing type programs.
Okay. So somebody, you know what I'm saying, we ain't homeless, but say we wanted to help out. You know what I'm saying, what's some ways we can help out within the community for the homeless, help the homeless community?
I mean, there's a lot that can be done. Number one, you can go to www.homelessauthority.org. take a look at that tiny house project.
And you can do this in your city too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Support creative alternative housing programs. If you're a property owner, if you're a landlord, go to your local public housing authority, and sign up one of your properties to the housing authority that they may be able to rent those properties out to individuals that are in need.
Okay.
You want to donate to projects like the Tiny House Project. Any project that has that housing first model. That's how you can really that's how you can really support and put a dent in the numbers of homelessness.
And I was reading that you want to go through your homeless authority before you start before you go out there and help folks. Because you don't want to enter that community. You got great intentions, but they start getting territorial because in fact they don't know you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I was reading that you want to go through your homeless authority and coordinate that help.
Yeah, you want to use common sense. You may be walking into a situation, and by nature, all individuals are opportunists, and so you may walk into a situation where you may be, manipulated because you just have well intentions. But if you go to the local homeless authority, talk to the outreach workers, and we can probably set up, a walkthrough to where we can kind of give you the scope of the problem, and let you know where it could be helped, where your help can, most benefit the individuals. There's a problem with blight. You want to go out. A lot of times everyone wants to feed the homeless, but when you actually feed in those campsites, a lot of times you contribute to the blight in the area.
Gotcha.
So if we organize an effort, with different community organizations or churches or whatever, we organize an effort, we can kind of control that blight, because a lot of times what you give, after it's all said and done, the trash is going to be right there.
Right. Yeah.
And so we try to create a situation where, we want to create situations where the individuals are living in areas, even if they're homeless, and even if it's a homeless camp, living in areas where they have some type of dignity and respect about themselves.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was talking to this one homeless guy, and he said he had to move out of one camp because they didn't have any structure. They just did what they wanted to do. Didn't know, nobody know anybody. They didn't try to help out the camp. So he moved into another one that was more structured per se. It's a trip, but with all the different organizations that help the homeless, is it best to go to those organizations directly, or still coordinate with the homeless authority if somebody wanted to volunteer their time?
All the organizations that actually help the homeless, that are in that homeless continuum of care, they are under our overall umbrella.
Okay.
So if you actually go to the Chandler Savannah Authority for the Homeless, we can arrange an event, with your local homeless shelter. We can arrange an event with one of the day centers or the local soup kitchens, to where your efforts can best be utilized.
Good. So there you have it. If you have a desire to help out, to assist somebody, you have there's got to be a proper way to do it. And seeing your homeless authority and doing it the right way is the best way to do it. Okay? We just wanted to paint the picture and let you know there is a need for your support. There is a need for your help. There is a need for your time. If you have monetary donations or gift you want to give, there's a need for that too. I think everybody, regardless of what your position is, what your status is, you should have a desire to give back. So, Mr. Carlos from the Chatham Savannah Authority for the Homelessness, I want to thank you for taking the time to come out.
My brothers.
All right.
It's much appreciated.
Let's let everybody stand down for homelessness.
Stand down for the homelessness.
All right.
That's right.
All right.
So, hey, you got anything else, Brother Reggie?
No, sir. That's it.
Hey, this is Big Ant.
This is Brother Reggie.
We're Mr. Carlos, and we're out.
All right.